Go for it.
Hello, my name is Dean. This is Shay, Alec, and Rodrigo. Our presentation is on the buzz card, how it's designed, merits, pros, cons, all that kind of thing. Buzz card is a plastic card that fits in your wallet. You should be familiar with that by now, seeing as how you've been here for at least a semester, maybe more. I'm not sure, everyone in this class. It's very convenient, gets you into many different locations. It's easy access to your funds, like Buzz Funds and Dining Dollars. Gets you into events that are on tech campus and non-tech, and as well as that, access to plenty of services. And I'll be talking about these over the course of the presentation. So the card itself, as you can see, has Georgia Tech Institute of Technology. It's got your name, signature, a barcode that can be scanned, easy access to your Georgia Tech ID number, which you should memorize because it'll come up a lot of times over your time here at Tech. But it's good to have it if you can't find it or if you need it quickly and you've forgotten it or whatever. On the back, there's a number on the top left, top right, the campus police and fraud reporting line, which are useful to have and good to have quick access to, I guess. Maybe not the fraud one so much, but the police number for sure. There's a seal in the back, and then there's some addresses. There's a bit of text that isn't really important to us, but more of a disclaimer sort of thing. But it's pretty well designed. It's got a lot of useful information on it. It's pretty small, things considered. As I mentioned earlier, it gets you into lots of different tech facilities. Like the CRC is one example, so you can go work out, you can go play basketball, you can go do whatever. It gets you into the library as well, where you can study, you can check out books. It's also used to check out books. That's more of a service, but access to that facility as well. It gets you into dining halls, any of the 3 on campus, assuming you have a meal plan. And it'll also get you into your residence hall, but not other residence halls. It's easy access to your funds. So there's Buzz Funds, which are separate from Dining Dollars, which I'll go into on the next slide. Buzz Funds can be used at vending machines. They can be used at Westside, which is like a convenience store kind of thing on West Campus if you're on East or you haven't been over there. Also, you have $220 per week allotted in your Buzz Funds for printing, which I didn't know about until pretty recently, and that's pretty useful if you need to print a decent amount of stuff. That'll get you through a lot of pages. Also, it can be used in the Student Center, Technology Square, for restaurants and shops and that kind of thing. Some places will give you discounts just for showing that you have a Buzz card. It's college ID kind of thing, student discount sort of thing. Dining Dollars are different than Buzz Funds, but they're also just easy access by money that you have on your Buzz card. Student Center, Technology Square, restaurants like these 3 and many more. Also, you get into plenty of events with the Buzz card. Some examples that I thought of were the Homecoming concert, Taste of Atlanta, which is like a non-tech thing. I don't know if anybody knew about it or went to it, but it was just kind of right in the city. Had like food and free samples and like little stalls set up with people selling things. Kind of cool. And at the entrance they check your Buzz card. Also the career fair, which was a while back, but I'm sure we all remember. And football games, assuming you have season tickets, they'll just use your Buzz card to get you in. Finally, you get access to services like laundry and printing, medical things like flu shots, that sort of thing, renting lab coats, getting towels in the CRC, and I'm sure there are plenty more that since I'm a freshman I just haven't come across yet.
As an ID, it's quick access to, as Dean said, quick access to your Georgia Tech ID. It's usually, I know for my CS3071 test, they check it before and after. So it's always a good number to have that memorized because it really replaces your social security number. So you actually need to memorize that number. It's great as a general college ID, just so they know that you're a Georgia Tech student. It's easy to add and monitor funds. There are stations that you can around campus. I know there's some in the Student Center. I know for West Campus, there's one in the West Side Community place. You can even do it online on your laptop if you're just in your dorm room. For the machines, it's actually kind of complicated to add. What you have to do is you have to select whether you want to add Buzz Funds. You can only add Buzz Funds. You can't add Dining Dollars. But if you want to add Buzz Funds, you slide your card in, decide whether or not you want to use cash or credit, and then you just go from there. Just follow the instructions on the screen. It's easy for us to keep aware of how much we're spending because first-time college students probably want to go a little crazy with money, but it's a great way for us to budget ourselves and learn how to budget. Again, it's a constant reminder of your balance because vending machines tells you how much you have left. when you go to the dining dollars, they give on your receipt, it tells you how much you have left on each account. Some cons to Buzz Card. If you lose your Buzz Card, you lose access to just about everything on campus, from your dorm room to the library to dining halls. You can't go to football games. If someone else picks up your Buzz Card, there's a risk that they may spend all your Buzz funds and dining dollars, so there's no really security for that. Damage to Buzz cards, they're plastic cards, so it can be easy to get damaged, especially the magnetic strip. Again, if that happens, you lose access to everything. Lack of access, because there's no date of birth on the Georgia Tech, on the Buzz card, it doesn't count as a valid ID. So I know for the Vortex, they require you have to be 18 or older, and for a lot of us, we don't drive on campus, so it's kind of difficult to have your license and your Buzz card, because you need both. So yeah, you don't have access to it because of the date of birth. You also don't have access to other dorms in the community. So I know they do freshman tutoring in a lot of these dorms, and if I live in Montag, and because Montag, Fitton, and Freeman are one community, I don't have access to the Freeman tutoring. Especially if the Freeman tutoring might be slightly better than all of them, I have to get someone from Freeman to let me in, which kind of could be a little bit of a hassle. But
so while there are some weaknesses to the Buzz card, they're pretty easily fixed. So one of the weaknesses was that it could get stolen or lost. And one way to fix this, if it's stolen, is by requiring a PIN number that you would choose at the beginning of or at orientation, and you would stick with that number your 4 years of tech. And then anytime you wanted to use certain purchases like vending machines or the laundromat or any of those, you'd have to put in your 4-digit PIN number to ensure that it's you using your Buzz card and not someone else. So next, you could black out the final 3 numbers of your Georgia Tech ID number on the Buzz card. So you still only have to remember 3 numbers, but if somebody picks up your Buzz card for any reason, they don't have access to all of your Buzz funds and your ID number. Lastly, if your Buzz card is reported stolen, and then it is used at any vending machine or any service, that location could be sent to the Georgia Tech Police Department, and then the police could come to possibly apprehend the thief or whoever took your Buzz card if that is the case. So if the Buzz card breaks, you could possibly go to WECO or ECHO, which is the West Community Housing Office or East Community Housing Office, to possibly gain a loaner Buzz card, which would just get you into your dorms, but it's more convenient than having to pull out your key every time you need to go in, and you could just kind of scan that to walk in. It would be like renting a library book, how you only have a certain number of days before you need to buy your own Buzz card back. It would just be a temporary solution to that problem. And similarly, if your Buzz card does break, you could possibly use your ID number to purchase things at stores like Westside, or to buy food in the student center. You could just use your ID number to do that, but there would be a preset amount of money that you can do in this way before you have to buy a new Buzz card again to ensure that you do get a new one. And although it's implemented everywhere on campus, Buzz card could be used even more. Like the scanners that they have outside dorms, they could have those in front of large lecture halls. I know that certain large universities do this a lot, where you scan in to take attendance and then you scan out as well. This is a more efficient way than using the clickers that some professors have you buy, and it would make taking attendance a lot easier. Next, there's the certain redundancy of having both Buzz funds and dining dollars. So by combining both of those into one account, you would eliminate the complexity of having so many different accounts. And lastly, having your room key and Buzz card fully integrated so that you can swipe your Buzz card on your dorm room door to enter your room. And using the PIN number that I mentioned earlier, you would type that in as well to ultimately gain access to your room. And it would prevent a lot of the lockouts that you have happen in freshman dorms especially. where people forget to bring their keys with them. Some of the physical buzz card fixes that we can have is adding a birth date on your car. As Shay was saying, or on your card, I mean. As Shay was saying, if you try to go to the Vortex or something, you can't. You have to have another form of identification. So you could also just have kind of like a stamp or seal that says you're over 18 or over 21, and that would get you into those kind of places. Lastly, you could shrink the overall dimensions of the buzz card and then add a hole on the side so that it fits on a keychain, kind of like this card here. So then you don't have to have it in your wallet all the time. And I know that there's a lot of things we have in our wallets, like our license, our credit card, and gift cards. And by having one less thing, it just kind of would ease that whole process.
Now I'm going to make associations with the book Living with Complexity. We can separate the bus card itself in two parts. One is the design itself, and the second the service provided by its use. We can call the bus card is complex itself. It has a lot of information, has a lot of use, but it is so well entangled that we can call it simply just pick up and look at the number or use it on something else. But now the design, the bus card itself, it's relatively easy to see. It's easy to see on a distance because of its strong coloring, and it's easy to pick the information from it because it's in gradation and a order that make it easier. First, the name of the institute. It can be smaller. It occupies almost 1/3 of the card, which it is on every card. Second, the name, which is the strongest writing that appears on the opposition to the background, which is the first thing we instinctively tend to look. Then the signature, that can use for comparison, photo, and the relationship to Georgia Tech. On the bottom, there is only on the most technical information, the card scan and the bus car logo. The back part, there is only a couple of fonts for use, the main extract, and a lot of technical information that we don't need to know about, as long as the writer of the books put on a chapter. It's called the reticulated spline, which is mean we don't have a really to understand it, just use it. Now the system for us is basically just using the bus card or to purchase something or to use all the use already described previously. But on the other side there is on the other side is also pretty simple. It is automatic. It's already everything automatic. I suppose it's.
So, if you've been captivated by our presentation today, and you would like to learn more about the buzz card and its uses, how you can add funds, all the different things you can use it for, you can visit this website here, buzzcard.gatech.edu, where there's tons more information about what it can be used for. So thanks for listening to us today, and have a good rest of your day.